Alright everybody, welcome back. Been busy trying to get these elevators and rudders installed since the last video. Still can't upload any pictures on RCU at the moment. Typical server error. So until they get that fixed, I'll just keep working with the videos. I'm still taking pictures and everything during the build. But I was going to show you what I've done so far. The elevator and rudder are back here, obviously in the rear. But I like how they have this hatch here that that you can take on and off, so it's easy to get in here and check this stuff. That being said, it's kind of a pain to get everything in here. Plus, I changed a couple things during the build. Use their hardware except on the rudder. They had a set of their typical, oh, that's the wrong one, typical metal rod ends, but the ones for the rudder are an actual ball instead of a bearing, and it's just a brash little ball in there, and they weren't very smooth feeling. So what I did is just took what I did on the steering of the nose wheel, just put one of these heavy duty ball ends from like Dubro. But for the elevators I use the pull. The rudder is just a push and pull setup, just one rod for the rudder, which is this guy right here. Let's see. Alright, so it's hard to see all this stuff in here, but you got this bracket. It's not one of them. This metal bracket here, which is what the elevator servo bolts to, comes back. There's a box here, which is where your elevator control horn is. You got two 3mm screws here that are bolted to a block. You've got two screws down here that are bolted to two blocks, and then this metal mechanism is bolted to. You can see them it's kind of hard to get a flashlight. You can see the four servo screws, but you can see them kind of poking out there in front of them. There's four. That's what actually bolts the aluminum frame piece here to the actual wood mount. And then the rudder servo, they use screws, but and they were coming in from this side with the screws and putting the servo up against the plow on the side. I didn't like that. Everything worked out better as far as the geometry of the rods with me putting the servo in from this side. And all I did was just make the holes, drilled 4 holes, and used a 3mm bolt with a lock nut. So that's one change that I did. I was looking at this. I'm guessing it's not going to be an issue, but I may, just because it's kind of, you can push on it, you can see this whole thing, this area kind of flex a little bit. I may put some real thick carbon fiber, just lay it up in there in this area right here, here and here up to this, just to give this some extra strength. I mean, like I said, I don't think it's an issue. You probably don't have to do it, but it might be something that I do. And then if you look, here's the shaft for the rudder. It just 2 set screws on the actual clevis there. Shaft goes straight down through. There's a big hole cut out down there. It's kind of hard to see, and that goes right into the base of the rudder, which goes in through here. And then you got 2 set screws, and then you got a little aluminum piece up here at the top that goes in the top piece with another set screw for that. So you go ahead and you lock this one in, get whatever length you want, and then you leave these. Obviously you don't put the shaft in, and the aluminum or the metal shaft that's inserted in here has 2 holes recess holes drilled in it for these set screws. So, and they're not, mine were not the same for both, so I had to make sure I put the right one in or they didn't line up. And you really got to get those things lined up and really push in and torque on them to get this thing. I thought I had them tight several times, and then I turn on the servo and this thing, you know, this thing's still slipping. So be careful not to strip it, but really make sure you get those holes lined up. There's an aluminum piece inside this area here, so you're not just tapping into wood or something like that. You can actually see it right there. It's kind of hard to see. There's an actual aluminum block in there that it's threaded for those set screws, so it shouldn't strip, but soft aluminum, you never know. Got my servo arms in for both jets and my receivers. I went with these car servo arms by Futaba. They're aluminum. These are actually really nice servo arms. They're off for those like rock climbers, so they got to be beefy. What I like about them is they got two screws here, one on each side, that actually clamp down, because you put these things on there and it just wobbles and they slide on and off, but when you tighten those two bolts down, it really locks them in. They're nice and thick. They're already threaded for the large Dubro screws that I was using, so that's a nice thing. That's for the singles. The twins, I got them over here. The twins are from a different company, but they're the same thing, aluminum. Have two screws on each side, kind of like SWB, and they're nice. And what I liked about them is, you know, you got holes that are, I believe, like 10 millimeters out, so you get you don't have to cut down on your endpoints, which I will show you here real quick. Let me turn this on. Love this radio. Best investment in a while. Alright. So let me sit this down for a second. Plug in the battery. Alright. So I wanted to show you with, it's kind of hard to see. This is what I have for the elevators. And this inner hole, which is about probably 14 millimeters from center out. I haven't measured it, but that actually works out perfect. I get full travel without touching the endpoints and no binding, and it's not a lot of throw. So probably gonna have to cut that down a little bit, but I won't have to do any crazy dropping of the endpoints, which would kill the resolution. No binding or anything. Let's see, rudder. Way too much throw on rudder, but that's as far as I could go on the rudder. So I'll end up having to just do some dual rates on that, because you only need about that much rudder and probably that much elevator. So there'll be a little bit of dual rate action, but not much. But everything goes in pretty good. I went through and made sure I checked all these rudder mounts, because you've got a metal bracket there and one right here. So when you push the rudder on, there's two carbon rods that are attached to the rudder that go in here, and you tighten these down. They didn't come with a lock nut on there because it's threaded, but I went ahead and clamped them down and then put a lock nut on there just in case. Just being a little extra careful. Let's see. Oh, receivers. Yeah, I kind of goofed. Where are they? I went ahead and ordered 3 receivers, because I got this one 7008SB 8-channel that come with the actual 18 MZ, and I ordered what I thought was the same exact receiver, but I ended up getting the 700. Oh, here they are. The 700 003 SB. So the difference between this one and the other one, this is only a 3-channel, but since I'm using S-Bus, I only need one port anyways. But it's got the S-Bus 2, and it's a 3-channel, a high voltage just like this one. The only thing is, and I'm pretty sure this is full spectrum just like this one, so that's not an issue. The problem I'm running into is I ordered 3 of these, and I thought I ordered 3 of those. So I got to find out if I can use one of these with one of these on the Roby system. If not, I'll just have to get send them back to Tower and just get the right ones. Because I really don't need an 8-channel receiver. I'm only going to be using one lead coming out of here. Maybe, well, actually, I will be. I did get a GPS speed sensor to plug into the S-Bus 2, but I only need one of those. So we'll see how that goes. Still racking the brain over the gear doors. I got these two. Gear will come up here. These two close when the gear's down. This one remains open. And then when you go to put the gear down or up, these open up, gear closes, and then they all close. So with it only being 3 doors, I might can come up with something using 2 valves and just using the programming feature like a 3-switch position in the radio. I kind of didn't want to get the UP4 UP2 combo just for gear doors because my gear is going to be electric. So if I can't come up with something, I'm throwing around the whole electric option, just putting either mini micro servos on there or some Lato door actuators. But extra money, they don't weigh as, the air system just for the gear doors would be less weight than the other things. So we'll see. I'm still brainstorming on it. Let's see. Yeah, and that's about it. Let's just go ahead and show you this. What I got here. Like I said before, these are pretty cool little features. Wow, look at that stuff, man. It don't like to stay straight, but it's just a hatch cover. Goes through there and covers that up just like that, which is nice because it's for ease of maintenance, getting in there and checking stuff out and inspecting stuff. A couple screws, little small screws. This, goes right here, which you really won't have to take off unless you have to do some maintenance on this side, like pulling servos out. So, but that's nice to have that access in there to get into and inspect something. Something else I'm going to do too, since these servos right here are going to be so close to the exhaust pipe, I'm going to take some just some thin balsa sheet and make some boxes and just put them over the back side of it. Just glue them in over the servo, and then I'm going to take some ceramic blanket and just put over that just to kind of protect it, because that's where the electronics are on the back side here. The boards are actually on the bottom of the servo, so having that close to the pipe, it may not be an issue. But like I said, I'm just going to put a little balsa box over it with a little piece of heat blanket on the side closest to the pipe, just for some added security. So I've got to finish up putting this this elevator rotor together. Servos are in. Just got to hook up the rods, and that's about it. And then I'll be done with elevators and rudders. Ailerons are in. No glue yet. I guess I should have called DreamWorks. I haven't heard anything if my order shipped or anything. I ordered like 2 days ago. Thought maybe it'd show up because I'm so close to Florida. Usually I get things in about 2 to 3 days from them. But I haven't got any confirmation that my order shipped or anything, so I guess I should call. And that is about it. Like I said, I'd get some pictures put up, but RCU's on the fritz again. So awesome radio. Love this thing. Turn this off. But anyways, you guys have a good Friday night. I'm gonna probably upload this video and then finish this side, and then I'll be done for the night. Until next time, you guys have a good one.